Hello, everyone. It is almost 1 a.m. I just felt that you should know that very important fact because I'm awake. I'm like, let me record an episode that hopefully I don't have to do too much editing. And today I am going to talk about Derrick Jackson. But I'm not going to say what everyone else has been saying because there's no point. I actually looked his name up on Spotify and it was an endless scroll of podcast episodes weighing in on his cheating scandal. And I'm confident they all said the same thing. The Cliff Notes version is he's an asshole. So you already know the scandal at this point. Hopefully, Derrick Jackson is a relationship expert who currently has 1.3 million followers on the gram. He also has a very popular YouTube account. I heard that he gained 200,000 followers since the scandal broke. So right now he's sitting at 1.3. And the first thing I want to talk about are the two kinds of cheaters that exist out here in these streets. So the cheaters, the first type of cheater is the person who speaks poorly about their partner, right? The person who's going to the side piece and saying, my wife or my husband, my boyfriend, my girlfriend doesn't do this for me. They don't do that for me. This person is such a piece of shit. This person's such an asshole. I want you. I love you. I'm not in love with my partner anymore and I don't know what to do. I want to get out of it. So there are the ones who fill up the side piece's head with whatever stories that they want to come up with to make that other person feel as though they aren't doing something wrong and just to be master manipulators. And then we have the other kind of cheater, and that is the cheater who doesn't ever mention having a partner at all. So in Derrick's case, according to the girl who exposed him, Derrick told her that he had been separated from his wife. Now, which cheater do you think is worse? A, the cheater who talks shit about the person that they're with, or B, the cheater who doesn't mention being with anyone else at all? I'm wondering if you guys could figure out which one I would choose. I know there haven't been that many episodes for you to feel like you would know, but I'll just go ahead and answer the question for myself. I think the person who doesn't mention their partner is a more considerate, yes, I have to go with that word, sorry. Or actually, scratch that, a less vile. The person who doesn't mention being in a relationship is less vile than the person who talks shit about their partner. And the reason why I say that is because if you're being cheated on and you find out about it, and then the side piece, tells you, or you find out that your spouse was talking shit, ouch. Okay, that is going to hurt so much more than somebody who claims that they were single. And the reason why I think it's so horrible to be the cheater who is talking shit about their spouse is because when the cheater is not lying and talking about how miserable they are, that person is sharing very personal, intimate details about the marriage and about their partner to a random who clearly is not respecting the union and doesn't care. And that cheater is actually putting their partner in harm's way because there are people who believe what the married person is telling them. And then what happens when they come into contact with the spouse? They feel like they have to fight, or they're trying to go after them because they feel that the spouse is in the wrong. They feel that the spouse has been mistreating the person that they're fucking. And so it's beyond it being selfish, it's also dangerous. And now let's get into what would happen if the tables were turned. Considering that Derrick has built his entire career off of talking shit about people who are doing exactly what he did for 4 years. I heard it was 4 years. considering the fact that Derrick has put out so much content saying that anyone who cheats is wrong and that women should set the bar for themselves sky high and accept nothing less, considering everything he's spewed for years that he has made lots of money lots of money off of. When you Google his ass, I mean, I'm not going to Google now, and I just want y'all to know it's like, when the income is there, I will be a Googling, fact checking, journalist ass bitch on this podcast. But until then, I'm going to let you know. I think I heard maybe, just because in order for me to do this podcast, it needs to take the least amount of time as possible, which is all part of why I'm like, these recaps that took forever to write, out the window. So when it comes to Derrick, he built his entire career off of talking poorly about men who cheat and mistreat their women and setting the bar very high. And I mention that because when I Googled him before I started recording, he has been writing books for a very long time about relationships. And guess what I'm not going to do right now? I'm not going to say the year that he wrote his first book, because I don't want to be putting out misinformation and saying, well, I didn't Google. That's kind of why I mentioned Google, but he has been doing this shit for a very long time. That much I could tell you. I can't remember the exact year when he started his bullshit, but it's a long time. And he has made so much money off of being a complete lying bastard. And speaking about himself, Derrick, he could write books about cheating because he wrote the playbook. He's just talking about his own self, which is very easy for him to do considering that he was speaking about himself in the third person. Like, okay, I need to calm down. So back to what I was saying. Considering all of the content that Derrick has put out, saying and conveying that men who do wrong are trash and should not be forgiven, what do you think that Derrick would do if he caught his wife cheating? What do you think would happen? Because men tend to not be able to recover because their ego is so damaged and bruised when their wife steps out. So for Derrick, someone who has spent years saying that anyone who cheats is wrong, can you imagine him forgiving his spouse if she cheated? Which leads me to his spouse, which is one of the things that I wanted to talk about the most. Many people have been attacking his wife. Now, his wife, she appeared in his apology video without makeup. It looks like she may not have a bra on. She's rocking a bonnet. And so I'm laughing just because he was gripping her to death. She looked like she was imprisoned. But so people have said that Derrick has cheated or is a cheater because of how his wife DaNaia looks. Some people legitimately have had the audacity to say that Derrick cheated on his wife, his partner of 12 years, because of how she looks. She was in her house. She was not on a red carpet. She could have looked any way that she chose to look. If I were her, I wouldn't have gotten on the video, but if I did get on the video, I would make sure that I look like a bad bitch. But at the same time, she's in her home and she's like, do I really gotta do makeup and hair for this man who just did this? I can understand why she's like, you know what? Just be lucky that I am sitting here. My presence is a present, kiss my ass. Sorry, I'm being so dorky, so corny. You know that quote. So to anyone who's saying that Derrick cheated on his wife because of how she looks, Google misogyny and find out how to overcome your internalized misogyny. Has Hollywood taught you nothing? Many of the baddest bitches in the game are cheated on every single day. It's always been that way, and it always will be that way. There was this statistic that came out forever ago, and it said something like 2/3 of the cheating that takes place, when men are married to women, it said that they cheat on someone who's less attractive than their wives. And why do you think that is? that is so that they could feel special, right? Because this random side chick, she's gonna gas him up, especially if she's not that cute. And so that's just perfect. It's feeding his ego. An insecure or less attractive woman might be more willing to partake in being a side piece. She might be more easygoing, just happy for the attention, happy that he's there. It may be more of a personality match, maybe more of a sexual energy, sexual chemistry match. Who knows? But men tend to cheat with women who are less attractive than their partners. So don't do that. Don't do that shit. Trying to put it on her. It's not her, it's Derrick. And if somebody wants something different, you could have the the baddest bitches. You could have the Beyoncés, and if you want something different, you're going to go for something different. Period. And so you can't place somebody wanting something different on their partner because it really is just they want something new, want something fun, dangerous, risky. I mean, the adrenaline rushes, right? Just the fun of all the lying you gotta do, all the sneaking around. That's sexy. All the quickie fucking. I get it. So, most importantly, what I want to know and what I want to ask any of my listeners who may have talked shit about DaNaia's decision to stay with Derrick, or anyone's decision to stay with a partner who is cheating or who has cheating, why is it triggering to you? Why is it triggering to you when DaNaia stays? Is it not her life, her business? Shouldn't you focus on your own shit? And because I just believe that when women like DaNaia choose to stay, they shouldn't be victimized by everyone who's coming at them sideways for staying. Don't you think that she's been through enough and she has, thought about her decision? Because she claims, I didn't watch the video, FYI, but she claims that she left and then, took him back or whatever. It's her decision and the venom. If you're going to attack anyone, please attack Derrick. Attack the man in these situations. I can't stand for people attacking the woman for staying. It's a very complicated issue, and if you wouldn't stay, then don't stay. But I just think it's fucked up that we have to re-victimize or victimize people a second time because they're choosing to do what works best for them. I think about people like Jay-Z, Beyonce, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, certain people where it makes so much sense for their lives and careers to stay. And on top of that, we just don't know the inner workings of those relationships. So as I mentioned, I'm not doing this episode to talk shit about Derrick. I mean, many, many, many people have already done that. My main takeaway from this is that I hope that we can get to a place where we do not attack victims and we do not shame victims, because Derrick's wife is the victim here. She should have been kept out of this entirely. We didn't know who she was. We didn't know she existed. And she was brought into this scandal just so that Derrick could try to salvage his flailing career. Because how is he supposed to get back from this? Actually, I will talk about that in a second. Actually, let me detour and talk about it now. So honestly, I think Derrick is still going to be thriving. And here's why. When scandals break, not everybody learns of those scandals. So yes, this was an enormous story, but I guarantee you that every single one of his followers and subscribers and fans is not aware of this scandal. So whatever percentage of people that is, he could still get money from. But I think it really speaks to his narcissism, right? He spoke in the third person, just like a narcissist. But it truly speaks to his narcissism if he's just going to be creating content as though this didn't happen. And I expect him to. I expect him to keep pumping out content, videos, books, whatever the hell it is he does, as though he did not cheat. It's like the selective amnesia will be activated, and it's going to be something that he never ever speaks on. He already took down his apology video. I can't find it. I tried to find it because I didn't watch it when it came out and blew up the internet. He's trying to act like this shit never happened. So I think it will be interesting to see what happens to his career, because a lot of times when people are quote unquote canceled, they have a comeback, but their career does not have the same magnitude that it did prior to their scandals. Obviously, it's case by case, depends on the scandal, depends on the fan base. But I do feel like Derrick is going to he has the audacity to keep doing what he does without addressing it in his content, when he should make it a teachable moment. He should say, this is what I preached, and now I'm speaking from the perspective of someone who's been on the other side. But he's not going to do that, because he would have to be self-aware. And in order to be self-aware, you don't do a video about yourself speaking in the third fucking person, and you don't present your wife to the world without having a hair and makeup team come to your goddamn house and make sure that she is putting her absolute best foot forward. It would have been nice if people looked at his wife and said, how could he? How dare he? Instead of, oh, I see why. She has a bonnet. Back to what the point of this, the main takeaway that I want this episode to be about, is that I'm not going to stand for the victim blaming and the victim shaming. And so when you sit there and attack a woman for staying in a relationship, guess what you're doing? You're victim shaming. And I think we need to step away from that and realize we don't know what's going on behind closed doors with anyone. And furthermore, if somebody has a burner phone and is super strategic, like Tiger Woods had a whole system in place of how to cheat, for example, when we don't really know the lengths that someone took to keep the lies away from their partner, if you wouldn't stay with someone who cheats on you, don't. If you wouldn't have an abortion, don't. If you wouldn't get divorced, don't. All of these examples represent people making a decision for themselves that they think is in their best interest. And at the same time, people could evolve and people could say, okay, I'm going to stay, or I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And over time, they change their mind. A lot of people who get divorced, or a lot of people who stay with a partner who cheats, they never thought that that would be them ever. They never thought that. So try to be sympathetic, have some empathy, and get off of DaNaia's neck and get off of anyone's neck who chooses to stay. It's their personal business. And it's just sad that if you're in the public eye and your partner cheats on you, you have to deal with everyone telling you to leave, everyone telling you you're weak, everyone saying it's your fault. None of these people are going to be living your life, though. None of them. It's always heartbreaking to me when people allow other people to make their decisions for them. Do what's best for you. A lot of people, or a lot of couples that have been through infidelity, they come out so much stronger and with a better understanding. And a lot of couples, they can't recover from it. It is so case by case. And I'm hoping that in Derrick's case, he had his fun and he's done with the cheating. That's what I'm hoping for. But if he's not, and if he continues to cheat, especially when shit officially completely opens up, and if his wife chooses to stay, that is her business. And I hope that people will stop harassing her at some point, but I doubt it. I just haven't really seen that on social media since social media became a thing. I've seen people bring up scandals that have happened like 40 years ago on people's profiles. But please just let people make their own decisions in their own relationships and ask yourself why you are triggered. Why are you so triggered? Because I believe, I just, this is my baseless belief that a lot of the women who I wouldn't put up with, who do all that talking are single or they're unhappy in their own relationship. That's just my random guess. That's what I've seen. I've only seen, not with this particular story, but whenever a cheating scandal breaks, it's always the single women I know or the women I know who are in a shitty relationship who have the most to say. So I think that happy people kind of respect people's decisions in these cases a little bit more, unless it's a friend who's constantly coming to them and complaining about cheating. That's a little different. But please be kind to Derrick Jackson's wife. I don't know if you've gone to her page or talked shit about her on her profiles, but please be kind to her. And whether it's DaNaia or someone else, just be kind. They're already going through so much and they're facing so much. I would not be surprised if DaNaia had death threats. Because time and time again, we hear of public figures having death threats. Public figures, as far as, you know, someone who had some story break over just anybody over dumb shit. Like, just dumb shit. So I just hope that she's able to get some therapy. I hope that she's able to find peace, because I do think that she has been thrust into a world of cruelty with trolls online that she did not deserve, did not expect, all for this fuckboy. So I hope she's okay, and I hope that Derrick does right by his woman and the mother of his kids from this point forward. So that's all I have to say about Derrick Jackson at 1 o'clock, after 1 o'clock in the morning. Yes. I hope you vibed with this episode. And what else was I going to say? Let me think. Obviously, I'll be a bit more caught up on some of these events that I'm trying to catch up on. But again, thank you for listening. I wouldn't be making these episodes if it weren't for my listeners. So